G'day, I'm Stevic.
I'm Ken.
And I'm Ro.
And we're 12 Foot Ninja. And you're watching
And listening.
to LINEA ROCK.
LINEA ROCK, and we have joining us today 12 Foot Ninja from Melbourne, Australia.
Indeed.
Welcome to Milano.
Grazie.
Okay, so welcome guys, welcome 12 Foot Ninja to LINEA ROCK, and welcome to Milan. You're gonna play tonight in our hometown.
Yes.
It's a great pleasure for us to have you here. This is actually your first time to Italy. You played 3 shows already, so it's a total of 4 shows. Torino, Roma, Firenze, and tonight Milano. How is the tour going? And do you get more surprised by the people, or do you surprise the people the most? Is there any crazy fan from Italy in particular that catch your attention?
There was a bloke, a fella last night that we have these little cameras set up, and he leaned into the camera and he was like, he's whispering something. So I'm waiting to watch that back and see what message he had for me.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, the shows have been great, really, really good, and the audiences have been really receptive. Yeah, we're loving it here. I think the audience are probably as surprised at us as we are of them, which is always a good thing. I think it's mutual. And we do attract some really crazy fans, which is awesome, which always makes for a good night. So the shows have been great.
And which is the best and worst compliment that you got up to now so far? And maybe the worst turn to be the best, I don't know, but...
What have I had?
Where was it? Was it Spain or was it? Yeah, I think we played in Spain, and there was this girl that came up. What was the order of events? She's like, Stevic, I love you. And she went, oh, and you?
Strawberry Man.
Strawberry Man. Strawberry Man. So she called Ro was known as Strawberry Man.
Okay.
I thought that was awesome.
We have a little running gag in the band that Rohan's favourite thing is strawberries.
Okay.
And if you come to the show tonight, you'll see more of that.
Okay.
But yeah, so people now have latched onto it, and sooner or later they'll call him Strawberry, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Which is the goal, isn't it?
Is that the goal?
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, strawberry.
Yeah. Strawberry.
There you go.
You play live in so very different kind of situations, from 20 people in a basement in New Jersey to an audience of 8 million at the Rock on the Rage festival. Does this get any schizophrenic? And what's the best of both worlds, club and big situations?
I think 8 million people locked in a basement would be the best.
That would, actually. It'd be hot, but it'd be good.
Yeah.
I think they're both good for different reasons. The intimate shows are cool because you get to look people in the face and you get that immediate response.
You've got the energy back.
Yeah, and it's closer, it's more intimate. But yeah, when you're on a big stage, we played some shows at the end of last year with Disturbed back at home, and they were the biggest indoor shows we'd ever played. And we were playing to, I think it was about 7,000 people or something. And just the sound when we came out, and the applause as we came out, and the sound, it shook me. I got a little bit, a little bit emotional, and it felt amazing. Sometimes it feels like when you're playing to a big audience that you're actually playing to no one. It's so cavernous and silent.
I'd love to get 8 million people to blink. I reckon it would be like...
Yeah.
Can it be like, a drug, playing for so many people and then maybe, have to go back in the smaller contest? Is it something that gets you, shocked?
It's the best drug in the world.
Okay.
It is the best drug in the world. It's the best feeling. I don't think there's any difference between the two.
Except
get
when you
the-
come
get
out
the
and you
same
got
feeling.
that big energy, then you play the gig and it's gonna be, okay.
I mean, you're kind of reliant on it's a symbiotic relationship
Mm-hmm.
with the audience, and you're kind of relying on some energy from them.
Yeah.
But we've had shows where there's been absolutely no energy from the audience. We've given it so much because we're attempting to elicit a response
Sure.
from the audience. But I get the same feeling both in front of big crowds and small
smaller
intimate
ones.
ones, and it's probably just adrenaline.
Okay. 12 Foot Ninja, founded in 2008, and soon after you released 2 EPs, New Dawn and Smoke Bomb. But it took 4 years to come out with the debut album called Silent Machine. Why so long? From foundation to debut album, was that a choice actually to have EPs first, or maybe is it because your project has a very complex genesis and you wanted to have it perfect before coming out with a debut album?
Well, Charlie, the kangaroo, he's on the cycle that gives us electricity. He died.
Yeah.
It took us a long time to get over it.
To
So
replace him as well.
Charlie used to be able to pump out electric. We could run Pro Tools for like 15 minutes when he was on the bike, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then after that, we're like, what are we going to do? It just took us a long time to get over Charlie, and
Yeah.
It was a really hard time.
It was really hard. And then we got Doris. And put Doris to work. Doris was younger and fitter, and so she could keep pedaling for much longer. And then we decided, you know what, we might as well, make use of Doris while we still can and get an album happening.
Yeah,
Sure.
But around about halfway through, Australia got electricity,
Okay.
and it sped up the process
That's right.
exponentially.
Okay.
So from there, it was just bloody downhill, wasn't it? In a good way.
In a
as
good way, yeah. It was
Fast.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you, Doris.
Yeah.
You've been defined as fusion metal. Is it a fitting definition of your unique brand, in your opinion? And actually, is it about being open-minded or definitely crazy?
It's definitely about being open-minded
Yeah.
and crazy.
Okay, both
All in
things.
one.
Yeah, definitely the open-minded thing. Heavy fusion, it's hard to. I'm trying to censor myself. There's a great saying: pigeonholes are full of pigeon crap. So it's hard to define some things that are very different all the time. It's kind of like musical pizza. Like it has different
Okay.
elements. So I think heavy fusion it works because it's sort of taking into account different genres that come in and out. I actually went through Silent Machine. It's 60% heavy inspired and 40% completely different.
Okay.
So 60-40 metal.
Is it maybe, in a sense, your attitude, and not to get bored thing? Your sound, or maybe your sound is simply the, result of a melting pot, as you said, different influences and different tastes of musical pizza.
Yep.
Okay, so that's why you're.
It is,
So,
and also he's amazing. Like you never put him on in control of an iPod in a car. Like he gets bored
Why
very
not?
quickly, and you go through. You'll be listening to one song, and then all of a sudden it just stops abruptly, and you got a new one and another one. I think that's kind of. I think Stevic would get really bored, and the rest of us would probably get really bored if we were just doing one thing. It makes it more interesting for us.
And how can you define your main influences? I bet that Fade No More, Primus, or maybe Korn also are in there.
Yeah.
But is
So-
there anything else? Surprise me.
There's so many in there.
So many. Okay.
Well, Ken's a massive Peter Gabriel fan.
Yeah, Sinatra.
Okay.
Massive Sinatra
Wow.
fan. Kurt Elling. Jazz, anything really. Flamenco.
Humphrey B. Bear.
Humphrey B.
His work.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah.
Tiny Tim. Who else?
Caramello Koala.
It just goes on. Caramello Koala. The Beatles. Everyone. I mean, we've all grown up and listened to a lot of music in our lifetime so far. And I'm sure there's a bit of everything that kind of seeps in.
Actually, there's an Italian,
musical DNA.
Antonio Forcioni, I think he's an Italian guitar player. I listen to him. He's awesome. I probably pronounced his name completely wrong, but I think generally we just love anything that's
That's good.
It's good.
So everybody's got his own iPod, and but if you have, to choose something as, a band, to listen maybe on the tour bus, what would it be?
Well, we've had a couple of nights where we've had a day off the next day, and we all get a little bit excited about that. And there've been 2 occasions where it's been ourselves and the other band that we're touring with, Uneven Structure, who are awesome. Check them out. And we've come together. I've put the jack into my phone, and I've played Miss Sugar, and the whole bus.
Okay.
We're all getting on it, and it's been a musical bonding.
Fantastic.
Glue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Always finds its way back to Meshuggah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every time.
Every time.
And then the Shags after Meshuggah.
the Shags. Look up the Shags. You have to look up the Shags.
The Shags are ahead of their time.
Yep. Light years ahead.
Yeah.
So 12 Foot Ninja is considered one of the most innovative bands in the world.
Ooh,
Classic
okay.
hard rock, mixing modern metal approach with, everything in between.
Wow.
Is it tough to live up to it, to a definition like that?
Nah, it's bloody easy. I reckon.
It's easy.
Just ignore it.
Yeah.
Just get on with it.
Yeah, I think what Kin said, it's not a conscious thing. We just do what we do, run our own race. You know what I mean?
Wait, it's time to be the most innovative band.
All right, let's get going.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that. We don't think in those terms at all.
Okay.
We just do what we do and do our best to enjoy it.
And is there any overthinking about it, or it just came, natural? Because it's really, you're surprised every time, that I see a video or listen to a new song, you're gonna surprise me. So it's
can be a
not
little bit
usual,
There can be a little bit of overthinking sort of in the writing process sometimes, because everyone in the band has to like it. It has to be unanimous,
Okay.
which can be difficult. There can be a little bit of overthinking when attempting to appease everyone in the band.
Okay.
But we all come together on it, and eventually we end up with songs that we all like. So.
And you combine, lyrics and arrangements in a very strong way, perfect way, I must say, perfect combination. What comes first usually? How do you work on a song? Do you have, a usual pattern, or every time is different?
Well, this goes back to Doris, doesn't it? On the bike. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Doris kicks this one off. He'll seed the idea on the bike. Where does it go from there?
Yeah, well then there's also Ernie the goanna. Ernie lives on a big rocky hill. Basically, I send a message to him via carrier pigeon. He'll read it and he'll go, okay, what am I doing? I'm doing bossa nova. Bit of salsa.
He pretty
Nice.
much talks in kind of.
Yeah. He'll then send me a message back, and it'll be the lyrics, and then from there I take it to the boys. I'm like, what do you think of this? This is, and we'll sort of sit around for a while.
In a vat of glue. We
Yeah.
usually like to bond.
Yep, in a vat of glue.
In all seriousness, because she's she's probably going, these guys are idiots. Look, I think we write. We can't really pin it down, to be honest. Like it's so many different ways. Sometimes Kim will have pre-existing lyrics. Sometimes he'll write lyrics after the fact.
Okay.
Sometimes we'll come with a little idea and he adapts it, or there's been many different ways. It'd be boring to go through and list the amount of ways that we do stuff. A lot of emails and back and forth and scrutinising and microscopes and all that kind of stuff. But
Okay.
and goannas and vats of glue and all that kind of stuff as well.
And tell us about your very special collaboration with Keith Draws, which is actually making comics. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. For any song, or how does it work?
So with Silent Machine, we released each song with a 6-page comic.
Okay.
One a week for 12 weeks. We called it Project 12. And now we sell the comic as a compendium. It has 72 pages, and
Okay.
each little micro comic ties into Kin's lyrics for that particular song, which is based on the original story of the 12 Foot Ninja. So that was something we did on the last album. and we carried through the character, which is behind you there, the 12-foot ninja, on the album artwork of the new album.
Okay.
But the songs don't explicitly tie into the story as much as Silent Machine. Still reoccurring large themes like mortality and things like that are threaded through the 12-foot ninja story.
Okay.
But yeah, did that answer your question? I went on a tangent.
You did.
Okay.
Perfectly.
Cool.
Okay. And about the 12-foot ninja story, how this came about, and is it true that you, Stevic, are the mastermind about it here? Or?
Well, yeah, I suppose 12-foot ninja really started in 2007.
Okay.
And I spent a year kind of planning, like how am I going to, create this music and find the right team and all that sort of stuff. And then the name 12-foot ninja came about from a weird road trip in far north Queensland. And then 12-foot ninja, and I was thinking about it, and then wrote this little novella, like a 6-chapter kind of story, and this world kind of emerged. So we've got this massive story that we haven't fully told yet, but there might be something on the way. There might be something on the way.
And the story is not finished yet. I mean,
Well,
keeps on. You're writing it.
Yeah, it's quite a big story, but it's
Big as the ninja.
bigger, even bigger.
Bigger than him.
Yeah, so that's something that's always happening in the background. I think it's great because a lot of people don't realise that exists, that there is a whole subterranean world underneath just the music and the name and the jokey video clips and stuff. There's this whole sort of story which is quite serious. Like it's so we're a bit of a schizo mixed bag of stuff.
We are.
And it's quite huge, since 12 foot is about 365.76 centimeters.
That's
so
exactly
we
right.
counted it.
Yes.
Totally.
Pretty big.
That's pretty big. Yeah.
So you have a lot of followers on YouTube, and did you sense it that, to have videos and be very social was the key since the beginning? Was that, behind
Yeah, I mean, we all agree straight off the bat that it's quite, in our opinion, boring to try and present yourself as like this demigod that needs to be worshipped. People like people who are walking on the ground with them. So we made a point of being very social with anyone who likes our music, and people who come to shows, we hang out and talk to them, and we don't believe we're rock stars or any of that crap. So and the clips, the idea of videos is to entertain, in my opinion, and these guys I'm sure would agree. So to me, it's a missed opportunity to make a music video and just be in a shed looking serious, and that's so boring and done to death,
Okay.
So it's a good time to have a good time.
And it's human. It shows our humanity, breaks down that rock star wall, which we still have fans that perceive us that way, but we do our best to kind of just break that down a bit and say, hey, we're exactly the same as you. We just bash around on instruments.
We're just entertaining you.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think that a project, or let's call it a band, because you are definitely a band, like 12 Foot Ninja is, benefits in a sense of these modern technologies and could have never happened like this maybe in the 70s?
Yeah, I think that's a great question.
A really good question.
Yeah, I mean, there are pros and cons to the new way. Like in the 70s, people would play shows to sell albums.
Yes.
Whereas now you make albums to promote shows.
Okay.
So music is paradoxically worthless and priceless at the same time.
That's right.
Which is kind of a strange thought. Spotify and things like that expand the reach, but the return, music has really become a marketing expense. YouTube, I think, is my favorite of the new sort of formats because it's visual as well. It's sort of both senses, hearing and seeing. So in one way, it's good for exposure, but in another way, I think we've lost 2 decimal points in terms of revenue.
Yes.
So bands make a lot less money than perhaps what they would have in the 70s with the equivalent kind of thing. But that's a massive debate because people would say, well, the exposure, you know. But to me, I mean, I did a little calculation. If we had have got a quarter of our Spotify plays, if they were iTunes sales, we would have made about $2 million.
Wow.
So...
So you reach more people, but you get less money.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so your videos are some way connected. Everything is done on your own, or do you have a team collaborating maybe at your label Volcanic Music, or it's done, you know, pretty much within the band and you keep, you know, the control?
The videos?
Yes.
Well, the videos, we've got a little team. We've got a few people we use, like for Mick Curran with video, you know, videography. We've used a fella named Lumpy Space Princess has helped us out with a few things.
Happy birthday, Lumpy.
Yeah, and very small team, but we pretty much like storyboard it and do it. Everything's done like internal. So,
Do you have, each of you, maybe any favorite video of the ones that you made up to now?
It's really hard.
it's hard because we end up watching them like 4 trillion times, but I still get sort of satisfied in the dismemberment scene in Ain't That a Bitch.
Yeah.
When I chop that guy up and it just keeps going for an uncomfortable amount of time. Something about that, if I'm in a weird mood, I'll just watch it and I just feel happier.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a good one to shoot too, having Periphery on board.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Good.
So, I'd probably agree with that.
Yeah.
You too?
Yeah, that one's
Okay.
epic.
Which is funny because it's the least watched video that we, that we have, but yeah.
And some of the videos are really extreme. Any problems so far, maybe with fans, you know, taking them literally, you know, on the thin?
Well, I do get a lot of, especially in America, I get a lot of people, like military people, coming up and talking about guns and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys know the deal in Australia, but nobody has, like, you know, you can't go and buy a handgun at the supermarket like you can in America.
Yeah.
So we don't have guns at all. Like maybe a farmer's got a 22 gauge rifle to, you know, shoot foxes or whatever.
Or registered hunters, yeah.
Yeah, but so that's unusual because we sort of teamed up with an armourer who brings in rocket launchers and all that. And his job is to own those weapons, and he supervises films when they're shot in Australia. So, but I've met people that own those weapons personally, and they're like, "Come over to my joint," you know, in their you do it in the accent.
You gotta come over, shoot some pigs with me.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And you broke a world record for the most amount crowdfunded for the Ain't That a Bitch video, the one you mentioned. Do you think that crowdfunding is the perfect way to resensitize the audience in this wild, you know, download world on the fact that music cannot be a free benefit, but as we said before, that somebody, you know, must pay for it, because otherwise, you know, projects are gonna last maybe less.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think that crowdfunding is like the key to?
I think so. Well, it has been for us. It's been really successful for us, and I think it's because I think a lot of you know, deep or genuine fans, they'd like to be involved somehow.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that the putting up a campaign for the video was kind of a bit of an experiment to see how it would go.
Okay.
And the response was overwhelming, really. And that so many people wanted to be a part of it or involved. So I think, I think the audience is asking for that kind of relationship with their favourite band. So if you facilitate that, it's kind of special. You create a really close relationship with people. We played one of the rewards was a barbecue, where we'd play a little acoustic set and smash troll burgers with them, and it was awesome. It was so much fun, and those people have kind of become our friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we see them at the same shows, you know, and it's fantastic. So creating those sorts of relationships as well is really special, and I think fans get a lot out of that.
I think the one thing I'd add to that is crowdfunding or having pledge campaigns, it can't be looked at like a handout. Like we have to offer something tangible of value to the people that are contributing.
Yeah.
And I think what we've always done is tried to over-deliver. Like if we had a scenario where you could buy a Christmas card and personalise from the band, and we missed the post, so we made like 30 individual videos for people, and the card came later, so they got a video where we knew some facts about the person, and so we really try and go out of our way to make people realise how much we appreciate their contribution, versus thanks for the money and you get nothing in return.
Yeah, or printed signatures. We sign everything by hand. I had to do handwritten lyrics, so I just got a regular note book as I would normally write them, and just write them out. But I mean, it's worth it, and I think if I was a fan of a big band and they went to that level of detail, for me, I'd be absolutely stoked.
Second album, Outlier, represents another big step forward for the band and brought you also in the mainstream charts. Are you still working in your own studio? And are you already working on a third album?
Yes and yes.
Okay, both. Can you give us any anticipation about it? Coming out when, or?
There will definitely be music on it. And
the Kangaroo will
I'm just
be there.
putting it out there, but I reckon there'll probably be a lot of words, mouth words, and bit of singing. That's
guitar. There'll be guitar on there.
You heard it first. Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully not too long. We want to. It does take a long time to do what we do, because it's not like we're like, hey boys, come over to the garage, let's just plug in
jam.
here. It's like, it's kind of like being architects. You design the plans, and then you've got to like test it, and then you try it, and then you modify it, and then you build the foundation, and you go, no, I want a different roof, and then you
it's not wind resistant.
So summary is yes, working on another album, and it's sounding different already. To anything, just always sort of looking forward.
Early days.
You won the Best New Talent Award at Revolver Golden God. Is this just the beginning of the awards that you're gonna win, or mostly you don't care about awards?
Oh, I love awards.
He loves awards.
Yeah.
I mean, it's lovely to be recognised, of course. I think it's actually more important to be recognised by audience members, people coming to your shows and being a part of it, or funding a campaign. But really, an award is an opportunity to thank all of the people that helped you get there. That's really what an award's about. It's not about you. It's about all the people that assisted you to get to that point and get to that level of recognition. So they are good for that.
Do you have any dream, any goal? Maybe, I don't know, working on a soundtrack for some big movie.
That'd be cool.
Would be cool,
Yeah.
Or winning a Grammy, I don't know.
A Grammy, yeah, that'd be nice. I think all things nice would be nice.
Yeah. That sounds nice to me.
Nice.
You come from Melbourne, as we already said, Australia. Yeah. Man of work, okay. How is the Australian scene at the moment? Are you an exception also in your country, or there are more bands like 12 Foot Ninja?
It's a tough question. I think we're our own thing. I haven't really seen or heard any other bands that are doing what we're doing. But there is a very diverse range of bands and styles out there.
Okay.
I think it's a lot harder to break through back in Australia.
Yeah, you can't tour like if you come to Europe, you can pretty much play like similar to the States. You could play every night of the week if you wanted to. Australia, you pretty much play
On the
Thursday nights, dodgy, university crowd. Friday night's a good one. Saturday night's a good one. Nothing on Sunday.
Yeah.
So there's 3 days a week that you play, but
Okay.
then you do like 5 cities. So I was saying the other day, an Australian tour, you play about 10 shows in 3 months. In a European tour, you play 10 shows in 4 days. So it's quite different.
Yeah.
And there's big distances between everywhere. It blows my mind that people come from some other country, and in my brain I'm like, that must have taken 18 hours, and they're like, nah, it's just down the road about 20 minutes, mate.
So you come from the same country as ACDC, but let's say that you're exactly the opposite as a band. They are a guarantee in their own style. You're a constant surprise. Can we read it as a sort of reaction to that some way? Because Australia, it's ACDC sometimes. So it's like, no, we want to be different. And
yeah, it's a great question. I've never thought of it like that. I mean, we all love ACDC. They really laid some big foundations for modern music.
And everybody loved them.
Yeah, totally. And what's great about them is they didn't compromise ever.
Yeah.
They were the same no matter what the trends were around them. They stayed the same, which is really admirable, I think. But I don't think it's conscious what we do. I think it just is. It's just how it comes out, sort of thing. It wasn't that calculated. I mean, personally, I've always written songs that were, jumping all over the place. So yeah.
Yeah, it's not I don't think it's a conscious reaction to it. It's just it's everything we like all put into a mixed bag, basically. But yeah, AC/DC are awesome. Actually, interesting fact, my dad used to serve them milkshakes because they used to get a small salary, but it was really small. And they didn't want to buy food with it, so they wouldn't eat. And they used to rehearse in this little rehearsal room near where my dad worked.
Okay.
And he'd notice that they wouldn't eat lunch. They'd rehearse for 8 hours, 9 hours, and they'd be bashing away at it all day. And he felt concerned, like a concerned parent. So he'd make them milkshakes.
Oh, really?
Take them milkshakes and go, get something into you, idiots, So, yeah, interesting fact.
That's a great story. Do you have any AC/DC favorite song, favorite album? And in Australia, do you still listen, all the time, everywhere to AC/DC, or it's different now?
I think it's sort of ingrained in our culture. Certain acts, like how Sweden is attached to ABBA, and it's irrational almost.
Okay.
I think we've got a few artists like that we just love, and if you don't like them, it's un-Australian. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get, evicted.
Yeah,
basically.
You can't.
Exiled
no
to New
one's allowed to
Zealand.
say they don't like AC/DC.
No,
it's against
sacrilege.
It's against the law. But. Yeah, what was the question again?
Favorite song or album?
Favorite song.
Back in Black is definitely the album, I think, because, Bon wasn't on it, and he was definitely the essence or the spirit of AC/DC, but I think there is a spiritual thing there between him and Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
And it happens on that album, and it's like a bolt of lightning. It's as if Bon is singing through him. And the lyrics and everything, it was like, wow, he tapped into it. So I think it's, from that point of view, a really remarkable album and a really remarkable moment for them that they could move on past Bon and continue. So that album for me, there's a spiritualism to it, almost a rock spiritualism. But yeah, I love songs like Jailbreak.
Okay.
I love
High Voltage. Thunderstruck.
Yeah. My auntie Margaret, that's show. I think I was at her. Either she showed me, or somehow it's connected to her the film clip, and it's like thunder.
Yeah.
And all those people hanging over the balcony, these guys are sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should play a cover of AC/DC, but the 12-foot ninja way.
We could do
Think
that.
about
probably.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bad idea.
Well, I was working on a little cover that perhaps we could do, but it was going to be
Back in Black, yeah?
yeah, baby got Back in Black.
Yeah.
So it was going to be a collaboration between, or a mashup between Sir Mix-a-Lot and ACDC, but it didn't work.
Okay, since you mentioned Bon and Brian, what do you think about Axl Rose singing with them? But you have to answer, as 12-foot ninja would.
Okay. Well, at first I thought, what is wrong with the world? What's gone wrong? It's that we've gone into an alternate dimension, and
It's like having Donald Trump as a president or something.
I know. Wouldn't that be weird?
That'd be so
would be
weird.
That's
so
a
weird.
good point.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be so weird. But I actually heard some. I saw some live footage and heard him doing it, and it was awesome.
Yeah, he nailed it.
He nailed it. It was. You can't take that away from the man, no
Okay.
matter how much you might dislike him.
Okay. Last two things for today. Which is the funniest onstage story that ever happened to each of you?
I've got one. It was a really early show, and we were in Sydney in this crappy little venue called Club 57. And it was back in the days when you could still smoke in venues in Australia. You can't smoke in venues in Australia. And this guy, he was up the front. He's doing this to us. He's smoking a cigarette. And he flicked a cigarette at our bass player. And it sort of come off the bass player. And then he's walked across to Stevic, and he's just going, in Stevic's face. So Stevic kicks him in the chest, just a reaction. Boom, in the chest. And the guy kind of went, whoa, and ran off into a corner. But that sticks in my mind every time I think of a unique experience. It was awesome to behold.
Never had to kick anyone after
since-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got that on film.
We do have
Somewhere.
that on video, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any DVD project live or with videos coming out, or now with YouTube, it's not worth it?
We should.
Yeah, well, I've been filming every show with 4 cameras on this European tour.
Every show?
Every show.
Wow.
So I've almost, what am I at, like almost a terabyte of data from everything. So I don't know, we'll put something together.
The
Well, I
12-foot
think we've got
ninja way.
enough. We've got so much footage. Footage we've never shown people.
Okay.
So I mean, eventually we could probably release.
Yeah, because
a
you're also,
DVD
a
set or
visual
something.
band, so
Yeah.
that would be great. Okay, so you said there's a third album coming out, but is there anything else immediately next after, this European tour? And how can you get over yourselves now?
Oh.
We get over ourselves.
Well, just go home and cry in a corner. I think that's a good way to get
Fetal
over
position.
yourself. No, nothing immediate. I think where the album is really where our heart's at. So we want to get home and just start working on it and get back into that flow. Writing songs or songwriting is like a muscle, and you have to keep flexing it. The more you flex it, the easier it is to do it. It's when you do sort of stop-start writing, it becomes hard and you've got to squeeze it out. So I think we just want to get into a flow where we're writing and collaborating, more often than usual.
You just have to stop, collaborate, and listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Profound, mate. Very profound.
That's deep wisdom.
Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah.
What a man, eh?
Yeah. We'll take heed.
Yeah.
Because I'm a lyrical poet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, last thing. So, people that are at home, it's raining outside. Yes, I would like to go, but maybe I'm not going. What would you say to invite them over to come to the Legend Club tonight and
Get over
see?
yourself and come on. Get involved.
It could be a while until we return. We're like a comet,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once
so
every
you
48
better,
years or something.
you better grab it. Okay.
Yeah, look, I would say that people, the consensus that we're getting is that was good.
Yeah.
It sounds weird us saying
It
that.
does.
Yeah. But, I would like I challenge someone, come down, and if you're disappointed, say it to our face, eh?
That's a challenge. Wow.
Say it to our face.
That's a good challenge. But yeah, please come down. You'll have a fun night, guaranteed.
Thanks very much, guys, for your
Awesome.
time, for
Thank
this
you.
awesome interview, and hope to see you soon
Thank you.
again. Okay? Thank you.
Cheers.
Ciao. Ciao, everybody on
Ciao.
Facebook.
Ciao. Comments. Oh. You guys should totally do some acoustic EPs and spruik 'em. Cannot wait to see you guys again. Come back. Love the t-shirt, Stevic. Wore one to your London show. Awesome. Ninja the hell out of that. That'd be gay. Those legendary shaking skills, as always, amazing. Come to Norway. The Ninjas have killed it again. Hey guys, you're the most innovative band of the last decade. DT fan, I'm a pretty big fan of your music. It's amazing. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
See you in Düsseldorf. Come back here. Amazing.